So we've addressed some of the technical aspects of making your first serve go. Now we're going to look at some of the tactical aspects. And some of those we're going to include in called the 5 priorities. And this 5 priorities is going to be a consistent theme all throughout our tennis tune-up with your game. It's going to be because it's PDDSS. And the first priority on my serve is to get it in. So that's most important. So how do I work on getting it in? Well, one of the ways would be to serve from closer up to the net first, so I'm not worried about the speed, or even to practice serving into the fence. So I'm not worried about the speed again, but just keeping my technique consistent. So once I groove my technique, I have a tendency to be more consistent right away because I'm consistent with how I hit the ball, to be more consistent with how I place the ball, and going for that target I talked about. So the next one we're looking at is direction. Where do I want the ball to go? Well, I like for it to go up the center, we'll call that C, into the player's body, which is B, or out wide toward the alley, so that's A. So we're talking about the serve direction being as simple as A, B, C, alley, body, center. So I have to, first of all, I suppose it's called the law of intent. Where do I intend to make the ball go? If I have a purpose in mind when I start, I'm more likely to achieve it. So with my first serve, we know that from watching priorities and watching Federer and Nadal and all those great servers play like that, their first serve aces occur up the middle. Now why is that? Well, the net's a little bit lower and the court's a little bit shorter, so it gets by the player quicker. It's in a straight line. When I serve out wide to the alley, I have to have a little more arc to make it clear the net. My target line becomes shorter than it is even up the middle, so I have less space to get into, but I can pull the player wide. Now why would I serve up the center? That's a great place to jam the player so they have a hard time getting away from the ball to hit. We know as your opponent returning the serve, it's more challenging to move away from a shot to hit it than it is to move to the ball to hit it. But my goal is to figure out where do I like to serve best? Well, I might want to go for the ace first, starting off the first point of the match, so I'm going to serve up the center. So I would go to my ritual. I have my target picked out first, like we mentioned. I start my ritual again to relax. Bounce the ball a few times, make sure my grip's relaxed. I have my target in mind. I see my opponent's ready. I look up to make the toss, work on my racket head speed with my continental grip again, so I can execute the technical part to perform the tactical skill I'm looking at trying to do. Well, my third priority then is what about depth? Well, there's different depths. I can hit the ball short depth or medium depth or even a deeper depth. Now typically we think about the serve as being a deep shot in the court. And that's true, it's better because the deeper you hit it, the faster it gets back to them. But they're usually not expecting a shorter serve either. So I might hit a little bit more of a shorter serve, add a little bit of spin to my first serve. So why wouldn't I hit a hard serve first? It may not go in. It's the first point of the match, or it's a key point in the match. So I might add a little bit more spin to my serve to make it go in a little shorter, maybe bounce a little higher just to kind of throw them off. Because that's my goal, is to have variety in my serve, especially on my first serve, so they don't know what to expect. We know they're expecting speed, but are they expecting me to change the depth of the serve? My fourth priority is spin. We know there's 3 kinds of spin I can hit when I'm serving. I have a slicing serve, which we'll discuss later, how to create the slice and how to practice that, especially on a second serve. I can toss it a little bit over my head so I can hit up across the ball, creating a higher arc. Because we know that the higher I get the ball, the more difficult it is for the opponent to create pace back against me. The higher the ball goes over the net, the more time I have to recover after I've made the serve to prepare quickly to get myself in position to handle the return of serve. So I can add also a flatter ball. Now, so what's a flatter ball? Well, I guarantee even the flat serves have a lot of spin. They just have a little bit less spin. So by varying the amount of spin I'm hitting from what we'd consider a flat ball to a slice ball to a topspin ball, I have 3 different kind of spins I can hit to confuse my opponent. And the last priority that I have, number 5, is the speed of the ball. I can hit it very fast, and we're going to call this level 3. Level 3 is as hard as I can hit it with one caveat, without missing. I can get it in. That's my priority. The second speed I have is a medium speed ball, and then occasionally we have the slow ball. And as much as we fear hitting a slow serve, if you've ever had to return a slow serve, it's very difficult to return. Now the pros can handle that kind of stuff. I mean, occasionally you'll see the pros serve a 70-mile-an-hour kick serve somewhere, but most of their balls are up around the 80, 90, 100-mile-an-hour serve on the second serve. We're addressing the first serve. But do I always have to hit a fast serve on my first serve? What do you think my opponent's expecting, fast or slow? I'll bet they're looking for my best serve because it's my first serve. How about if I change it up and hit them a spin serve or a second serve on my first serve? So I'm changing my racket head speed slightly by adding more spin so I can curve the ball in the court, maybe bounce it up a little bit. So we're going to look at the tactical priorities and remember the five fingers. Was it in play? Did you have the right direction? And we mentioned there's 3 directions. There's 3 depths, there's 3 spins, and there's 3 speeds. So that gives you 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 ways to tactically manage your first serve.